It was dead until I did this. Look at this absolute beast. 3 feet of pure, gorgeous snake plant glory standing in my living room right now. 17 days ago, this same plant looked like a sad brown stick that belonged in the garbage bin. My neighbors literally asked if I was collecting firewood for winter. I'm not even joking. But here's the thing. I discovered something that changed everything. 2 drops. That's literally it. 2 drops of something you probably already have at home. And before you roll your eyes and click away thinking this is just another clickbait plant video, I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes because what I'm about to show you is borderline ridiculous. It sounds too good to be true. I didn't believe it either until I saw the results with my own eyes. Let me guess what's happening with your snake plant right now. It looks like it's been through an absolute war zone, right? Brown tips everywhere. Mushy, soft leaves that feel wrong when you touch them. That weird, wrinkly texture that screams, "I've completely given up on life and so should you." The leaves are probably drooping or folding over like they can't even support their own weight anymore. You bought this plant because everyone on the internet said snake plants are impossible to kill. They thrive on neglect, they said. You could literally forget about it for months and it'll be fine, they promised. It's the perfect plant for beginners, they swore. Well, congratulations. You somehow managed to do the impossible. You killed the unkillable plant. And now you're standing there, staring at this dying disaster, wondering if you're just fundamentally cursed or if you should give up on real plants entirely and just buy those fake plastic succulents from IKEA. At least those won't judge you with their brown, crispy disappointment. I've been exactly where you are right now. 3 years ago, I killed 7 snake plants. 7. In a row. My friends started calling me the Plant Reaper. My mom genuinely suggested I take up knitting instead because at least yarn doesn't die when you neglect it. It was absolutely humiliating. I couldn't even keep alive the one plant that supposedly survives nuclear fallout and apocalyptic conditions. So let me tell you exactly what happened that changed everything for me. Last month, my sister was moving across the country for a new job. She showed up at my apartment with this absolutely tragic, pathetic snake plant in a cracked pot. And when I say tragic, I mean this thing genuinely looked like someone had taken a flamethrower to it. Brown tissue everywhere. Limp leaves drooping down like sad puppy ears after being scolded. There were more brown parts than green parts at this point. She handed it to me at my doorstep and said, "Here, you take it. If anyone can finish it off completely, it's definitely you. Consider it target practice for your plant killing skills." Thanks, sis. Really appreciate that vote of confidence. Nothing says sisterly love like passive-aggressive plant murder jokes, but something inside me just snapped in that moment. Maybe it was wounded pride. Maybe it was pure stubbornness. Maybe I just couldn't handle being roasted by my own family anymore about my plant care failures. Whatever it was, I decided right then and there that this plant was not going to die on my watch. I was going to figure this out even if it killed me in the process. I spent 3 entire days researching everything I could find. Scientific articles, YouTube videos, Reddit threads, Instagram plant accounts, everything. And then, buried deep in some obscure plant forum, you know the kind, where people debate soil pH levels like it's a matter of life and death, and they have 3-page arguments about perlite percentages, I found one single comment. Just one person mentioning hydrogen peroxide for root rot. And let me tell you, it sounded absolutely insane, completely crazy. But at that point, I was desperate enough to try literally anything. 2 drops of regular 3% hydrogen peroxide mixed into water. That was the instruction. So simple it seemed stupid. I watered my dying snake plant with this mixture, fully expecting to wake up the next morning to find a completely dissolved plant and a smoking pot with a hole burned through the bottom. Day 3 after the treatment, I saw new growth. Tiny, almost microscopic, but definitely there. Day 7, the brown areas were actually receding. Not spreading, receding. Day 17, just look at this thing now. It's like I gave it performance-enhancing steroids and an inspirational TED Talk about believing in yourself. Okay, let me break down exactly what's happening here on a scientific level, because this is actually genius when you understand the chemistry. Snake plants turn brown and die for several specific reasons. Overwatering that leads to suffocation, root rot caused by fungal infections, bacterial problems in the soil, or just complete oxygen deprivation in compacted dirt. And this is exactly where hydrogen peroxide becomes your plant's literal superhero in a bottle. When you add hydrogen peroxide to water and pour it into soil, it immediately releases pure oxygen molecules. This extra oxygen in your soil does three absolutely incredible things simultaneously. First major benefit: it annihilates the bad bacteria and fungi that are literally eating your plant alive from the inside out. That brown, mushy, disgusting disaster you're seeing? It's usually caused by anaerobic bacteria throwing a party in your waterlogged, oxygen-deprived soil. Hydrogen peroxide crashes that party hard and shows those bacteria the door permanently. Second major benefit: it aerates and oxygenates the roots directly. Your plant's roots desperately need to breathe oxygen, just like we do. But when soil gets compacted from repeated watering or becomes waterlogged from overwatering, those roots are basically drowning slowly. The oxygen from hydrogen peroxide is literally like performing CPR on your plant's suffocating root system. Third major benefit: it actively stimulates new root growth and cellular regeneration. Those extra oxygen molecules send a signal to your plant that essentially says, "Hey, things are looking up now. Resources are available. Time to grow and thrive." It's like giving your plant a shot of espresso and a motivational speech, except it's actually healthy and scientifically sound, not just nervous caffeinated energy. Now, before you run to your bathroom cabinet and start dumping hydrogen peroxide all over every plant in your house like some kind of mad scientist, stop and listen carefully. This is absolutely not a daily treatment. This is not a more is better situation where you should use it constantly. We're specifically using 3% hydrogen peroxide concentration, the regular stuff you buy from any pharmacy for cleaning cuts. And we're being very strategic and careful about application. Here's exactly what you need to do, step by step. First, get regular 3% hydrogen peroxide from any drugstore or pharmacy, not the industrial strength stuff, not the hair bleaching concentration that's like 30%. Just the regular, boring first aid kit hydrogen peroxide that comes in that distinctive brown bottle. Second, mix just 2 drops. Yes, literally only 2 drops, into approximately 1 cup of room temperature water. For a significantly larger plant in a big pot, you can increase to 1 teaspoon per cup of water, but always start with less rather than more. Third, water your struggling plant with this mixture one time, just once. Then you wait patiently, watch carefully, document the changes, but resist that overwhelming urge to water again immediately. I know you're going to want to. Don't do it. After 7 to 10 full days have passed, check your plant's soil moisture level by sticking your finger down about 2 inches deep. If the soil feels completely dry at that depth and your plant is showing visible signs of improvement and recovery, you can do a regular watering with plain, normal water this time. If your plant is really struggling badly with severe root rot or major damage, you can repeat the hydrogen peroxide treatment once every 2 weeks maximum. But that's the absolute max frequency. Never more often. Your plant needs to do its own recovery work too. You're just providing the tools and environment for healing. One more critical tip nobody ever mentions: always use room temperature water for this treatment. Cold water will shock the roots and cause stress. Hot water will literally cook them and cause damage. Room temperature is the perfect sweet spot where your plant can actually properly absorb the treatment and utilize the oxygen effectively. The transformation you'll see is genuinely shocking and almost unbelievable. That brown, crispy, dead-looking texture? It starts fading away within days. New growth? Comes in strong and vibrantly green. Not that sad, pale, sickly green color of a dying plant struggling to survive, but deep, rich, healthy. I'm thriving and I know it, and I'm proud, green. The wrinkles in the leaves smooth out and disappear. The leaves firm up and become rigid again. Your plant literally stands taller and more upright, like it just received a massive confidence boost and a new lease on life. And here's the most surprising kicker that blew my mind. Snake plants that recover from near-death experiences actually become stronger and more resilient than plants that never struggled. It's like they remember almost dying and make a conscious decision. Never again will I be that weak. They become these completely indestructible monsters that grow aggressively like weeds taking over a garden. My rescued plant now? It's putting out multiple new shoots every single week. I'm genuinely running out of space on my shelf. I might actually need to rearrange furniture or buy a plant stand. This is a problem I never in my wildest dreams thought I would have based on my plant-killing history. The height difference alone is absolutely insane and almost hard to believe. When my sister handed me this plant at my door, it was maybe 14 inches tall maximum. And that's being extremely generous because at least half the leaves were folded over in complete defeat and despair. Now, it's pushing 3 full feet tall. I measured it this morning with an actual tape measure because I literally couldn't believe my own eyes and thought I was imagining things. Want to know what else I changed that made a massive difference? I moved the plant closer to a window with better light exposure. Not direct harsh sunlight. Snake plants absolutely hate that and will burn, but bright, indirect natural light throughout the day. Turns out, even though snake plants can technically survive in a dark corner of your room, they don't exactly thrive there with vigorous growth. Who knew? Oh, right, everyone knew. But I was too busy systematically killing plants to actually listen to advice. I also completely stopped obsessing over it constantly and checking it 5 times per day. The old, anxious version of me would water on a rigid schedule like clockwork, whether the plant actually needed water or not. Now, I simply check the soil with my finger. If it feels dry, I water it. If it's not dry, I leave it completely alone. Revolutionary concept, I know, mind-blowing stuff. And finally, I trimmed off all the completely dead brown leaves with clean scissors. I know. It felt like giving up on them and admitting defeat. But here's the important thing. Those dead leaves were just draining valuable energy and resources from the plant unnecessarily. Once I cut them off and removed them, all that energy immediately redirected into producing new healthy growth instead. Sometimes in life, you have to let go of what's dead to move forward into the future. Very philosophical, very deep, very plant parent wisdom of me. Just imagine for a moment walking into your living room and seeing this kind of gorgeous, thriving greenery instead of those sad brown sticks of shame and disappointment. Imagine your friends and family actually asking about your beautiful plants with genuine interest instead of politely avoiding eye contact with your botanical crime scene and wondering if they should stage an intervention. Picture yourself watering your plants with actual confidence and pride, not that nervous, please don't die on me this time, energy that we all know too well. Imagine an entire living room or bedroom filled with these gorgeous, tall, dramatically thriving snake plants creating that modern, elegant aesthetic that everyone's obsessed with on Instagram and Pinterest, except it's completely real and actually in your home where you live. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars buying new expensive plants from fancy nurseries. You don't need some elaborate fancy greenhouse setup with temperature controls and grow lights. You don't need a degree in botany or horticulture. You don't need some mystical, magical green thumb that you think you weren't born with and can never develop. You need 2 drops of hydrogen peroxide and the willingness to try something that sounds absolutely crazy. That's literally it. That's the whole secret. Your home genuinely deserves to look like a lush jungle paradise. You deserve to feel proud and accomplished about your plants instead of hiding them in closets when guests come over to visit. If this video just saved your plant's life, or if you're about to run right now to rescue that sad brown disaster situation currently dying in your corner, smash that subscribe button immediately. Seriously, hit it right now while you're thinking about it. We're called Plant Care Secret for a very specific reason. This channel is all about sharing these weird, unexpected, unconventional tips that actually work in real life, not just the basic generic stuff that everyone tells you that clearly doesn't help anyone. Drop a comment down below right now and let me know. What's the most dramatic plant rescue you've ever successfully pulled off? Or alternatively, what plant is currently living in your home on life support right now that you need help with? Let's figure it out together as a community. I read every single comment personally and I absolutely will help you save your dying plants. That's a promise. Make sure to turn on those notification bells too, because next week I'm dropping another secret technique that's going to completely blow your mind. Let's just say it involves something you definitely already have sitting in your kitchen right now, and your pothos plant is going to absolutely explode with aggressive growth when you try it. Remember the formula: 2 drops, 17 days, 3 feet of gorgeous, vibrant green plant power and glory. Your snake plant isn't actually dead yet. It's just waiting patiently for you to do this. Now go save that plant and transform your space.